Okay, hi, everybody. Can I get a motion to go into executive session to discuss matters of personnel and legal matters? Leah and Brett, all in favor? 7, okay, we'll see you guys back at 7. Thanks. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Can everyone stand for the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Thanks. Let's start with roll call. Leah?
Hi, everyone. Leah Leone.
Brett Miller.
Maria Venuto.
Ann Markoulis.
Angela Ramo?
Megan Levine.
Maureen Jimenez.
Michael Mecca.
Okay. And let's move on to the approval of the minutes from October 22nd. Can I get a motion? Brett and Maria, any questions or comments? All in favor? 7. Committee reports. Audit Committee.
Our external auditors, O'Connor Davies, have finalized the 24-25 financial statements, and they presented them to the board at the last meeting. The report is on the agenda for tonight for approval, and then they will be available on the district website tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. Policy Committee?
The Policy Committee convened on Monday, October 28th, with Student Board Member Ryan Martino in attendance. The committee engaged in a productive discussion focused on ongoing policy review and alignment with best practices. The committee reviewed the presentation titled School Board Policies into Accessible Engaging Resources. This was a presentation from NYSBA. The committee identified several takeaways from the presentation that we will be incorporating into future policy development and revision work to enhance accessibility, clarity, and tone. The committee continued its review of the district's sexual harassment policies to determine if updates or revisions are warranted to ensure continued compliance and alignment. The committee also reviewed Policy 1120, School District Records. Updates to this policy are required by the state, and revisions are currently being drafted for committee review prior to being advanced for first read to the Board of Ed. The committee discussed that the Grading Policy Advisory Team, led by Mr. Klatsky, is actively meeting to review the district's current grading policy. Once the advisory team concludes its review, we'll present its recommendations to the Policy Committee for consideration next steps. And the committee discussed that under the policy adopted this past spring/summer for student representatives who are now chosen through the student election process to serve as a student ex officio board member, we agreed that the next step is to continue the conversation with student leaders from class government and the student senate, along with building administrators and other stakeholders, to outline a process that best reflects both the policy's intent and the district's mission in ensuring that the student voice remains active and meaningful part when that election process occurs.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Thanks for that, Andrew. I just wanted to add, it was great to work with the student board member, having Ryan at the policy committee meeting, because we're really trying to make an effort to have our policies more accessible to the community, of course, including students. During the week, Maureen suggested a policy about e-bikes, and I would like to suggest that we add that to our agenda, about looking about the possibility of developing e-bike policy just for safety reasons. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you. Education Committee.
The Education Committee last met on October 8th. At that time, we discussed our new report cards for grades pre-K through 5, including the family guides, which we will present on tonight for the community's benefit. We'll be meeting again on November 12th to review baseline data from the fall testing window, as well as other recent assessment data.
Thanks. And facilities update.
In the high school science labs, all the fume hood, fans, and lights are now operational, as well as the gas lines. Classroom shades have been installed in 8 of the rooms, and the remaining rooms should be completed soon. The chemicals have been brought back from storage, and a final punch list has been created and distributed to the contractors. In the kitchen, the walk-in refrigerators and freezers have been assembled and installed. Wall panels have been completed in Cafeteria 1 and will continue into Cafeteria 2 this week and next week. The cameras outside of the cafeteria have been replaced. Partitions have been installed in the first and second floor boys' bathrooms, and the girls' bathroom should be completed by the end of the week. At the middle school, there was a sinkhole that's been repaired behind the Home and Careers room, and at Connolly, roof repairs are now completed. In the Daisy extension, the ceilings in the new classrooms are 90% complete, and the toilets and sinks have been installed in the new bathrooms. The basement floor is now sealed, and railings have been installed. There was some minor damage, minor flooding, in a few of the other buildings due to the storm last Thursday night. Facility staffs were on site to deal with the cleanup, and everything has been taken care of at this point. We also had the official kickoff meeting for the construction to Thayer House this week to discuss timeline and next steps. The contractor is putting together a construction schedule, so we'll have more specifics soon.
Thank you. Okay, now our student board member update.
Okay, so in terms of the school year, we will have our first academic milestone, right, the end of the first quarter on this Friday, the 7th. As recently as last week, a new policy has been in effect to where all teachers have to keep their doors closed. I know that Ryan had recently had a meeting with the policy committee concerning student government campaigns in the year to come. I believe this was done in part with Mr. DiNapoli, and Ryan was very thankful for the experience. So upcoming this month are signups for winter sports, as well as the beginning of the season itself. This list includes boys and girls basketball, cheerleading, boys and girls track, wrestling, kick line, swimming, and finally rifle, which I'll be participating in. Start day for these winter sports is the 17th for all of them. Finally, I just want to say my congratulations to the top 10 students of the class of 2026 who are all here tonight. And that's all from me for now, and thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you. Okay, superintendent's report.
Okay. Okay, so my superintendent's report starts with honoring the students that are here tonight. We are so thrilled to have you in attendance. It's one of our proudest evenings and proudest times together as a Board of Education, where we really get to acknowledge the top 10 students of Glen Cove High School. The amount of hours, the dedication that you put into your studies, into your academics first, but that's not all that you all do, and we know that. You have extracurricular activities, you have sports, you have music, you have art, you have theater, you have community service. Your days go beyond the school day, and we really are impressed by everything that you do. You blow us away because when we think about our own childhood, we don't even know how you're able to achieve it. So we'd like to invite at this time Mr. Hudson to join us up at the podium. Mr. Hudson, if you'd like to say a few words, and then we will begin by presenting the certificates for the top 10.
So I don't want to reiterate everything that Dr. Dashner said, but as I walked in, I noticed sort of a pattern here. We all, number of young ladies here, number of young ladies there, all the gentlemen are sitting here. It's almost like a middle school dance, right? But, you know, I jotted down a few things, but I just want to speak from the heart. You guys are awesome, all right? As I kind of looked at really a number of your accolades that you've had here over the past 4 years, as Dr. Dashner spoke to, you're involved in everything. Athletics, theater, music, select chorale, trial and debate. They're even taking courses, the new courses that we're offering here at Glen Cove High School. Just to brag a bit about you guys, because you all, as we know you, all of you are very humble, and we appreciate you. But just a bit of information for those who are here. So their averages range from 107.075 to 105.117. Now, I am your principal here. I graduated from here. My GPA was not near 100, all right? So my hat goes off to each and every one of you. Got to brag a little bit more. They're involved in everything. Like I said, honor society, community service. I mean, some of you we see, it's almost like you live in this building, and just kind of, there are certain people in this world who have, most of us have 24 hours, right? You guys must have mastered something to where you have 27, 28 hours in a day, because the accomplishments that you've had are incredible. So as I looked at some of their GPAs and I looked at the historical data the past couple of days, all you see is hundreds, like 100, 100, 100, 100, maybe a 98. It goes right back up to 100, back to 100, back to 100. So again, you guys are incredibly awesome. Just another thing. So New York State only requires that students need to, you only need 22 credits to graduate from a high school in New York State. All right, I'm proud to say that all of these GC Knights right here have far surpassed that, and they're only, think about it, they haven't had their credits applied to their transcripts yet for their senior year. So in 3 years, all of them have accumulated 25 credits only in 3 years. Some of them are up to about 29 credits, and one individual here has actually 30.5 credits, which is unbelievable. All right, we're extremely proud of you. All right, you exemplify what we want here for all of our GC Knights, and we are extremely proud of you. Thank you very much. It is a pleasure to be your principal.
And before we officially start naming all of you, your families and your loved ones are here tonight, so I really want you to take the moment to thank them as well for all of the time, the dedication that they invest in you. You are their prized, possessions, the prized thing that they have in their lives, because they just know everything that's right, starting for you as you leave our buildings, right? The rest of your life is ahead of you, and they couldn't be prouder, we couldn't be prouder, but they're your loved ones. They see you day in, day out, when you have the tough days, when you have the great days. So give them a round of applause, and let us give them a round of applause for everything they do for you. So without further ado, we'll get up and we'll start naming our top 10 scholars. Okay, so our top 10 scholar, Mariah Cueva. Come on up. Our number 9 scholar, Barbara Benitez Vasco. Our top 8 scholar, Brandon Garovillas. Our top 7 scholar, Benjamin Napolitano. Our top 6 scholar, Casey Miller. Top 5, Angelini Hernandez. Our top 4 scholar, Nicholas Chickvack. Our top 3 scholar, Ella Waldman. Our second top scholar and our salutatorian, Peyton Angelet. top 3. And in Glen Cove High School, we named that our honorarian, so that is the title that she holds. And our number 1 scholar, our valedictorian, Sergei Fyodor. I think we're all set. You may all be seated. Thank you so much for being here. Congratulations once again. So here are all the names up on the stage. I couldn't reveal this before we named them all, but we are so proud of all of you. So the next part of my superintendent's report will be celebrating staff. We just celebrated all of these students, and we'd like to recognize some of the staff that helped organize and coordinate yesterday's superintendent's conference day. So it was election day yesterday, and students were not in attendance, but we had all of our staff here. They were participating in a day of learning. So I want to just go through some of the photos from yesterday, which it seems like it was more than just one day ago, because we're very busy here at Glen Cove. So the day started with one of our students, Aiden Van Omeren, who was invited up to sing the Star Spangled Banner. He did a lovely job, and he started the day off right for everyone, remembering that we are part of this wonderful nation. We then went on to my keynote address. It's not a very flattering picture, Ms. Viskovich, but I'm mid-sentence here as I presented the Dignity Index. It is a tool that was created by the group called Unite, and it helps all of us remember that we need to treat each other with dignity. It was something that we learned when we attended the New York State School Board Association Convention in New York City, and it was something that we wanted to share with all of our teachers. Next, we had Mr. Klatsky. He was the orchestrator of the entire day. He organized the workshops, the raffle baskets, the food trucks that you will see in a few minutes. So he really led us in all of the activities for the day, and he also organized a wonderful team building activity that you'll see in a couple of minutes. So here we see teachers participating in Minute to Win It community building activities. We had all of the buildings compete against one another. It was friendly competition, Mr. Hudson. And we did have the high school take the winning trophy. And we are now calling this trophy the Superintendent's Cup. So I heard that Daisy is coming for the high school next year. And it was a time for all of us to laugh, to have some joy, and to decompress. This was followed by Ms. Fletcher, who led the GCTA with her address after the morning. We had a photo booth here, which was free of charge to the district, but it was a moment that gave us a chance to take these wonderful group photos. So this is not the photo from the photo booth, but Ms. Viskovich took that from the side. You can see we're really kind of getting a lot of fun out of it, and you can see the joy on our faces as administrators. Then we got right into the day. We had a number of sessions that were led both by administrators as well as teachers. And in some photos, you will see it's being led also by administrator and teacher teams, which was wonderful to see. We had outside presenters. These two presenters were from Variety, and they led our speech teachers in the use of AAC devices, for example. We had a presenter sorry, hold on a second, talk to us about the smartboard use. So that was also very useful for our teachers. Here we have Ms. Nastri, and she led a group on virtual field trips. We had Mrs. Arnold and Mrs. Carfora talk about culturally responsive teaching. This workshop was led by Ms. Cajamarca and Mr. Icolano. It was on restorative circles. Everyone is in rows for this portion of the part of the workshop, and then they all circled up and participated in a restorative circle. Ms. Viskovich and Ms. McKenna led a session on Parent Square, the basics, but going beyond the basics so that teachers really understand the tool and how it can connect to the families and the homes. This is Ms. Russo and our literacy coach, K-2, and Ms. Monaco, one of our reading teachers. So they were leading a session for ENL teachers and going through some of the work that they do in the early grades. These were some of the ENL teachers at the secondary level who were interested because some of our learners obviously need to learn to read in English as well, so they were sharing best practices. Then we transitioned to mindfulness workshops. We had Mr. Dotton lead a number of workshops along with Ms. Torchia. They had weight training, they had coloring, they had pickleball, and it was a lot of fun, as you can tell. Teachers really were able to have a moment to relax, recharge. Everyone had to choose one of these mindfulness workshops, and it was one of 4. We also had Mrs. Curtis and Ms. Schaefer lead a cricket workshop where teachers had the opportunity to create crafts that they could take home with them. And this was by far the most popular session. Mrs. Garaldi led a fresh pasta making workshop. She had teachers make fettuccine. They cooked it right in the classroom. If you see the ceiling above, it is decorated with penne, with farfalle, and rigatoni, she had said. So she really went all out. This was so popular that Mr. Klatsky had to develop a lottery system for teachers to have the opportunity to participate. Mr. Dotton also made a photo, not a booth, but a photo corner where teachers had a lot of fun taking photos there as they decompressed after their workout sessions. We had some raffles that were sponsored by some of the vendors that we use in the district. So again, it is a cost-effective way to give a little something, a token back to our teachers after a day of learning. And of course, we had to bring the food trucks back because they were a big hit last year, so we had 3 food trucks here as well. Once again, it was a day that was very intentional to show our teachers just how much we value them. It gave them choice, it gave them voice, and it also gave them mindfulness opportunities. So at this point, I'd like to transition and introduce Mr. Bryce Klatsky, our Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum, Instruction, and Technology. He's going to do a presentation about the new report cards.
All right, thank you, Dr. Dushner. So I'm pleased tonight to share kind of the final comprehensive update on our new elementary school report cards. This is a process that began with our teachers, and we finally been able to bring to fruition. So I'm pleased to share you where we've been and where we are. So for a couple of years now, our teachers noticed misalignment or has been a misalignment between the curriculum that we're using, the standards that we are tasked with instructing, and the report cards that we're delivering to families for our pre-K to 5th grade families. So in November 2024, our leadership team came together to look at other report cards. We looked at probably about a dozen report cards from other districts to see what we enjoyed, what we thought was beneficial for our students and families, and what might work well for Glen Cove. Then throughout the spring of that year in April, we met with teachers to review a draft of some of the additional revisions, or the initial revisions, and offer feedback in teams. In May, we made some additional revisions, and then in June, our leadership team made yet another round of revisions and began drafting a family guide. And this handbook, which I'll show to you tonight, and which will actually go live tomorrow through Parent Square, is a really critical component of the new report card rollout. In July, we had a final meeting which involved teachers as well as families, so we invited members from our PTAs in to take a look at the work in progress and give their feedback. In September, we engaged in translation uploading, so a couple of people here that I need to acknowledge. Miss Ashley Giraldi was very helpful in helping make sure our translations were accurate, and Gail Tulo has been working tirelessly to ensure that the report cards are uploaded. It is a major haul on the back end to get this all coordinated. And so now we are in November 2025. It's taken us a little more than a year from the inception point to where we are now, where we're able to actually produce these new report cards. So just a little conceptual framing here. These new report cards can be classified as skill-based report cards. So I tried to put together a little comparison for us here, but some of the major points, traditional report cards are looking at averages of assignments. Now, elementary report cards have always had the benefit of using something like a 1 through 4 scale, so we're not averaging test scores. But with the new skill-based report cards, what you'll see is that you're getting a report on the demonstration of the student's mastery of skills. So it is much more responsive to the learning standards and to the skills that students are actually practicing. The skill-based report cards show us what students know and what they need to focus on next. A major, and this for me personally, with my pedagogical interest, is the major benefit here. Traditional report cards usually reflect things like behavior and effort, which can be largely subjective, whereas skill-based report cards really focus on academic progress and skills. If you're looking at a traditional report card, it may be hard as a family to know where you're going to support your child when they come home with that report card, whereas these skill-based report cards are much more specific on what skills students need to practice. And overall, the skill-based report cards are emphasizing growth and progress. So, I want to show you a couple things that are new. On the screen now, you're seeing what used to be our social-emotional, or what at the time were called work habits and social development skills. So some things that our students were graded on were things like comes to school prepared, shows a positive attitude, respects authority and follows school rules. These were the things that you were getting feedback on about your student in the past. And you can see the scale that we were using was alphabetical. There was an E, G, S, I, N, I, and a U, or an R, S, and a C. The feedback we were getting from families too is that this was confusing and didn't really give them the specificity of information they wanted to see about their students' progress. So our new skills focus on social emotional skills that are aligned to our social emotional curriculum. And what you'll see here is much more detail about what exactly teachers are looking for, and also a clarified grading scale. So in the same way that we're grading students from a 1 to a 4 for their academic skills, we're also now grading 1 to 4 for the performance levels for the social emotional skills. And this, we believe, is a much more responsible way to grade social emotional learning, particularly because it's actually tied to instructional programs that exist in the school. I'm just bringing out the math skills here to show you how the math skills look different in the new report cards versus the old report cards. Something that teachers identified as being a little bit wonky is that the phrase effort showed up multiple times in the old report cards. So you can see here in math alone, effort is rated 3 times. There are things here that are really not consistent with the next generation learning standards. And so I'll show you now what the new math skills look like. You can see this is broken down by category. So if you are looking at your student's report card and thinking, how am I going to help my student improve? It actually gives you specific skills that you can work on in specific categories. It's helpful for teachers too, because in the past, the skills that are up here were not nearly as discrete. So for a teacher, it didn't provide a good roadmap for how to start remediating for student skills. This is super important. The grading scale is now consistent. It was not consistent, and what we found is that teachers, different buildings, may have had different understandings of what these numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4 meant for students. One really significant change that is consistent with best practice for skills-based instruction and assessment is the meaning of that 3. So when a student receives a 3 on a report card, that means that that student is meeting the standard and performing at the grade level expectation. That's the goal for a lot of our students. So we want to see our students performing at a 3. It means that they've got it. If there are students who are at a 4, that's fantastic. It means they're above the grade level expectation. But we really expect that a lot of our students will be performing at a 3, especially if they're acquiring a new skill. A 2 is not necessarily a bad thing, particularly early in the year. Students may be still approaching standards because we're still only in October, November. So they're still acquiring those standards as they go forward. And a below means that they have insufficient understanding. You may see an NA, it's a rare code. It would only be used for a student who was very recently enrolled, or for some reason we were unable to assess them on that skill. The report card handbook. So these will go home in a paper copy for all families, translated in Spanish, but they're also available on the district website, and they'll be posted to Parents Square tomorrow. The first page, which is that left side of your screen, shows that grading rubric. It just reinforces what I just spoke about, which is the importance of that 3 as being the kind of got it score. On the right-hand side, you'll see an annotated copy of a report card just to demonstrate what different areas of the report card mean. On the bottom, and this is super important, and I hope people hear this later because I know this is going to be a really popular question. Some boxes may be grayed out, particularly when you get that report card in October. If a box is grayed out, it means that the curriculum has not yet fully addressed that skill, which makes a lot of sense in October, November, because the work is still in progress. So especially if you have a kindergartner, some of those math skills, for instance, will not be fully introduced until later in the year because they're still developing their rudimentary facts. So if something is grayed out, it just means that the teacher has not gotten to that part of the curriculum yet. But we do have consistency across the district. Our coordinators have worked with the teachers to determine which skills are not yet being fully assessed. The report card handbook also has 6 of our most frequently asked questions. Those questions came from our consultation with families when they reviewed the report cards and the presentation. These were some of the questions that they asked, so we wanted to have that there. There's also a QR code at the bottom which goes to our family curriculum guide. So for families who are interested in knowing exactly what is my student learning in these different subject areas, we really want folks to look at those curriculum guides. The coordinators did an exceptional job creating those. We think they give a really good vision of what students are learning. On the last page, there are 2 quick references for additional supports for ELA and for math. Not that those are the only subjects that you'll see on the report card, but those are ones where we think we can support students a little asynchronously with some online resources. So that's available for families as well. And I wanted to hit on a few just frequently asked questions here that I think are really critical. The first I already mentioned, why are some boxes grayed out? It just means that the curriculum has not yet been addressed in that particular trimester. How can a student earn a 4? So this is probably a popular question. To earn a 4, a student is going beyond the grade level standard by consistently demonstrating a deep understanding and applying that knowledge independently. So it's not about a student doing more work. So if your student receives a 3, don't go back to the teacher and say, well, can you give us more worksheets? That's really not what it's about. It's about the depth of understanding that shows that they're working beyond the grade level expectation. And lastly, and I really hope folks take this to heart, how can we talk to children about the report cards? I really hope that folks, when they get these report cards, are emphasizing your child's strengths and looking at their progress. We want these to be a way to build confidence, and we talk about growth mindset all the time in our schools. We know that learning is a journey. Some students will be at a 2, and then they'll go to a 3, and that's going to be a great thing to celebrate, or maybe a 1 to a 2 to a 3. But it's about that growth, and that is really one of the major assets of this new type of report card. And lastly, I'll just leave with these points. How can families use these report cards? One of the reasons we made these revisions was so that the report card would be more family friendly. So first, obviously, your first point of contact, if you have questions, is your child's teacher. When families receive these reports, if they want to know, this is a 2, is there something I can reinforce at home? Certainly check those QR codes on the back page of the handbook, but also reach out to the teacher. We hope everyone will attend parent-teacher conferences. And when you're there, please feel free to ask for work samples and assessments. Our teachers are prepared with data to show how your student is progressing. And so if you want to see more of that, please ask for them. Again, please utilize those resources in the handbook. And it should be pretty clear what skills children might need to work on from these new report cards, and we hope that's the experience that our families have. So that is my quick run through of the new report cards. Are there any questions? Yes.
You probably answered this, but are these on PowerSchool, or is it a different platform?
So you'll receive, you're not going to see these reports through PowerSchool. They'll come home as a paper copy.
Which is great, I like that, because then it goes home and everyone can see it, because it's difficult to rely on getting the technology this way.
Sure.
I appreciate that it goes home, thank you.
Anyone else? I just want to say thank you for all the work that you guys and the staff and the parents and everyone put into developing it. And I really like the parent handbook. Obviously, that also shows a lot of effort that you guys put in to try to make this transition clear to people. All right, thank you.
At this point, Mr. Klasky will go through the new course proposals for the 2026-2027 school year.
Thank you, Dr. Dashner. So our curriculum committee met, and the courses which we're going to propose tonight are all met with unanimous approval, and I'm hoping to present them in a way that is true to the exciting new offerings that we have. So the first one, which is really exciting from our Fine and Performing Arts Department music program, is our Select Orchestra program. In a nutshell, what's happening here is we have had advanced pathways for other instruments, including things, Select Chorale being chief among them, or one among them, but we have not had the alignment for orchestra. So really what we're looking at here is an opportunity to ensure that our musicians in the orchestra program have the same advanced opportunities as their peers in other areas. So this is an audition-based program, and I think the clearest way to show this to you is this chart here. So students performing in orchestra will really kind of have 2 pathways to choose. On the left is Orchestra Pathway 1, and we're going to call this kind of a basic participation pathway. So students can take Orchestra 1, 2, 3, and 4, progressing in 9th, 10th, 11th, and then 12th grade. Those are regularly weighted classes. Or, if a student is looking for a more advanced option, they can take Orchestra 1 in their freshman year, and then they would audition to join the Select Orchestra, and then they could take Select Orchestra 1, Select Orchestra 2, which is an honors-weighted course, and College Select Orchestra 3, which is a college-level course that can also be used for dual enrollment purposes. So the proposal here is really to create these 3 courses on the right, the Select Orchestra pathway, which does not currently exist. Right now, it is really just that pathway on the left. So we want to build that out so that students who are more advanced and want to have that more rigorous opportunity can participate in the Select Orchestra program. The second proposal here is from our ENL department. This is our English Language Lab. It is available for students from grades 9 through 12. It is a full-year course. This course targets foundational literacy needs of multi-language learners who are entering high school with limited English reading skills in their first language. This course will have some rigorous entry requirements, meaning that it is really reserved for students who are new to the country and are coming in with really basic English language skills, who may need a greater level of intervention and a greater level of support than they might traditionally receive from their E&L support program. It involves progress monitoring every 6 to 8 weeks, including student reflection and growth portfolios. This will be taught by a certified E&L teacher. Excuse me. And you can see here, ideally, this would be a smaller class size to provide really supportive instruction for students who are newer to the country or newer to the language. This is a new course offering. We don't have something like this. At this point in time, if a student enters Glen Cove High School in 10th grade, having never encountered English as a language of instruction before, they do receive their E&L minutes, which are mandated by New York State, but there is nothing else that is kind of there as a support structure. So that is the purpose of the E&L English Language Lab class. The third class, and this is exciting and very timely, is our Intro to Computer Science with Programming and Artificial Intelligence. This will be the only course at Glen Cove High School that currently addresses artificial intelligence explicitly, and we know that it is time to look at a course that does exactly this. So students will learn these basic programming skills, algorithmic thinking and AI concepts, including things like machine learning and pattern recognition, as well as responsible use of artificial intelligence and how they might implement that in various platforms and applications. This is taught by a teacher who has basic computer programming knowledge. It does not replace an existing course because we do not have a course at the moment. We have other computer science courses, but none that explicitly speak to artificial intelligence. So we think this keeps us at the cutting edge of computer science, and this class lives within our math department. And the final class that we're proposing is in the English department. This class is titled Heroines and Histories, Women in Literature. This is a course that examines the representation of women in literature, including feminist and critical theory lenses. This will increase the diversity of the offerings that we have within the English department. And we're also looking for this to be a higher level course. So we're exploring currently dual enrollment possibilities for this course so that students who partake in this will have a more rigorous experience and also be able to appreciate dual enrollment college credit should they choose to do so, because we do think this will be a more advanced course that will have a more challenging undertaking as students are interpreting literature in more creative and challenging ways. So those are the 4 course proposals that were confirmed by the curriculum committee, and which I'm happy to present to you tonight, and I'm happy to address any questions that you have about these.
Mr. Klatsky, thank you for this detailed. I just have a quick question about the English Language Lab. Is this going to be at each grade level, or are you doing one class from 9 to 12?
Thank you. So it will be one class from 9 to 12. We went through and we actually reviewed. Mr. Aldo was able to bring a very comprehensive overview of our E&L learners at the high school. And what we reviewed was how recently the students arrived in the country and what their current level was. And what we determined is we're probably somewhere in that 12 to 18 range of students who are really new to the country, really new to the language, and need this additional intervention if we take everyone from 9 to 12th grade. So we can responsibly stay within that smaller class size and address the full high school.
Would this, would this be a consideration from going down to the middle school level for 6 to 8? Would that be a consideration?
It could be. There are additional, so I will say at the elementary and middle school level, there are some more intensive interventions that already exist.
Okay.
Really, this is in response to an identified gap at the high school.
Okay.
But, we're constantly reassessing the efficacy of our response, particularly knowing that we do receive students who need that extra boost when they join our district.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks.
Any other questions?
Just have a comment. I just want to thank you for this. I think it really rounds out our offerings really nicely, especially where we had some gaps. So I really appreciate this, and thank you for sharing it with us.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Cahan. We're going to respond to the question that we had from a community member in regards to why Glen Cove pays its own tax statutory refunds. This question was answered to the community member already, but we wanted to give a public answer so that everyone was aware of the answer at once. Ms. Cahan?
So the City of Glen Cove maintains its own property assessment, which is Nassau County Assessment's role. Glen Cove School District is the only district in Nassau County that does not use Nassau County's role for its school taxes. This is possible because the district's boundaries are in the same city's boundaries, which allows it to function independently. Under the Nassau County Administrative Code, or the NCAC, the county guarantees the refunds for tax certiorari cases only when the errors come from the county's rolls. Since Glen Cove uses its own rolls, it falls outside of the NCAC refund system, and Nassau County is not obligated to guarantee those refunds. The difference between the Long Beach School District and the Glen Cove City School District is that Long Beach uses the city's assessment for the city taxes, but uses the Nassau County assessment roll for its school taxes.
Thank you, Ms. Cahan. That concludes my superintendent's report.
Okay, thank you. You know, I'm a little disappointed we didn't get any pasta tonight for dinner. I think that would have been nice, but maybe next year. Anyway, now we'll move on to public comment. Agenda items only. Each speaker has 3 minutes. Please be respectful, and we're here to listen, and we will respond at our next meeting.
Janet Blatt, McGrady Street, Glen Cove. First, I had a conversation with a lawyer in the Open Meetings Office upstate after the last meeting. And although, she said that although there is nothing specific related to when the superintendent answered one person's question at the meeting but doesn't generally answer, the guiding rule is supposed to be that everyone who speaks is treated in the same way. Therefore, and I don't expect you to change, I don't expect you to care, but what you're supposed to do is, if you answer one person's questions at a given meeting, then you answer anyone else's questions at that meeting. Having said that, I did get the answer to what you went over about the tax certs 2 days later. So I didn't need to be here or live stream to hear the answer. But if you're going to answer questions, answer everybody's questions. The rules are supposed to be set meeting by meeting. So you have to be consistent meeting by meeting. You treat everybody the same at any one meeting. To not do that is in violation, but you violate a lot of the open meeting laws, so I don't think you care. I'd like to know what, if you honored the 20 top students, which we did years ago, and then it was changed, what average would that take us down to? It's not going to be a low average. Given what the top 10 had, it's going to be 96, 97 at the lowest of the 20, but I'd like to know what that is. I continue to believe that we should continue to honor the top 20. It's absurd to me that we can't honor students that are as good as our top 20 would be. I wanted to know if a student has a 3 in a subject area on the new report cards, would that indicate that there would be no reason for in-school extra help, say in reading and math, because they're at grade level, or there might be something that a teacher might see that would indicate that they need extra help? And that's it for tonight.
Thank you for your questions.
Okay, anyone else? Okay. Let's move on to the instructional report.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, I ask the Board of Education to approve Agenda Item 7 on the instructional report. A, Committee on Special Education. B, Committee on Preschool Special Education. And C, New Course Proposals 2026-2027.
Can I get a motion? Maureen and Megan, any questions or comments? All in favor? 7. Business Affairs.
Based on the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, I ask the Board of Education to approve Agenda Item 8A, Finance, numbers 1 and 2.
Can I get a motion? Leah and Ann, questions or comments? All in favor? 7.
Based on the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, I ask the Board of Education to approve Agenda Item 8B, Operations, numbers 1 through 5.
Can I get a motion? Maria and Brett, questions or comments? All in favor? 7. Okay, personnel.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, I ask the Board of Education to approve Agenda Item 9A certified, numbers 1 through 6.
Can I get a motion? Leah and Maria, questions or comments? All in favor? 7.
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, I ask the Board of Education to approve Agenda Item 9B classified, numbers 1 through 5.
Can I get a motion? Brett and Ann, all in, questions, comments? Sorry. All in favor? 7. Okay. Any unfinished business? New business? Board comments? Brett?
I just want to say, or reiterate, it's very impressive what the top 10 did, and I'm sure the top 20 as well. I just wanted to reiterate that it's very impressive what the top 10 did. And do a good job representing our school. I also wanted to mention that we went to the NYSBA conference. For somebody like me, I learned a lot being the first year on the Board of Ed. Teresa was missed. Teresa didn't go. But, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That's it.
I mean, I just have to bring up Superintendent Conference Day because, and congratulate you guys, because it seems like that was an incredible amount of work, all the sessions, all the choices. I may have, I say this all the time, have to call in sick and come here and just like hide out and come to some sessions. But it seemed like it was really well received and a fun but informative day for the teachers. So thank you for that.
I agree with everything that's been said, but in specific to the NYSBA convention, I think it was floated to have like sort of a work session based on that, since we had the opportunity for all of us to be there, which was unique. And also sometimes it's difficult to maintain that momentum, right? Like we come out, we're like all these great ideas and who to talk to and everything else, and then it's sort of, you know, the day-to-day gets going and you forget all that. So I'd love to have a workshop and discuss some of the ideas we had. I think maybe at later meetings we can like talk more about what we all went to that was meaningful to us, but it was a really, I thought particularly this convention was like themed better in some ways. They seem to definitely have a few themes running through the workshops, and I just really enjoyed it. And I also learned so much and loved, you know, speaking to all the other trustees and administrations from other districts, just to see, you know, what is in common and what's in common between everyone, challenges and otherwise. So it was all good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to scheduling the work session, because I think with everything that we learned, we could really put some new things in place, and that would be great. Anything else? Okay, we'll move on to our final public participation. 3 minutes. We will respond at our next meeting. Any takers? Okay. Can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting? Brett and Leah? All in favor? 7. All right, thank you, GCTV. Have a great night.